Would you rather be known as a Christian or as a disciple of Jesus? Is there a difference? And does it matter? In this video, we're going to talk about how we identify as believers and the difference it makes in how we live out our faith. Hey, it's Andrew with Into the Harvest, and our mission is to help you be a disciple and make disciples in the everyday places of life. We create videos and resources that help you live your faith in the 21st century. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss out. So what's in a name? Is it better to be known as a Christian or as a disciple of Jesus? Now, some may say it doesn't matter. We could be known as both. But I believe it does matter, and especially it matters how we think of ourselves. It's better to think of yourself and call yourself a disciple of Jesus than a Christian. Let me give you a few reasons why. First, Jesus never called his followers Christians. He called them disciples, and the emphasis was always on living a life that was driven by a faith and led to action. My favorite story about this is from the Gospel of Matthew chapter 8. In that chapter, you'll see that many people had come up to Jesus and were volunteering to be his disciples. And Jesus was clear about what the cost would be if they were going to be disciples. Then in verse 23, we read something very interesting. It says that Jesus got into a boat to cross over to the other side of the lake, and his disciples got into the boat with him. You see here that action is what separated people who wanted to be disciples from those who actually were. Many people said that they would follow Jesus, but when the boat pulled away from the shore, the people who were in the boat, the people who had taken action, were disciples. A second reason is because the word Christian is only found 3 times in the New Testament, and it's a word that was never used by the first followers of Jesus to describe themselves. They refer to themselves as disciples, brothers and sisters, saints, followers of the way, believers, a lot of words that the first followers of Jesus used to name themselves. But Christian is a word that was coined by non-believers as an insult towards the followers of Jesus, because they saw people who were so fixated on Jesus that they were building their whole lives on him and running around trying to become little Christs. So it would be similar to today, fans of Star Trek being referred to as Trekkies, or fans of Justin Bieber being called believers. A third reason you should call yourself a disciple instead of Christian is that the word Christian itself is a clay word. And what I mean by that is that when you say Christian, it means different things to different people. For many people, being a Christian is cultural. It's a way to differentiate yourself from someone who's part of another religion. So I'm not Jewish, I'm not Muslim, I'm not Hindu, I'm not atheist, therefore I'm Christian. And I recently heard comedian Bill Burr use the word in this way. He actually he called himself a Christian, which if you're familiar with Bill Burr's comedy, you'll know that can't be real because he's actually quite negative towards Jesus and towards Christianity. But he was saying that I'm not these other things, and I'm not sure if God really exists, so I'm Christian. Being a Christian can also be seen as a political term. So many people see Christians as people who are also Republicans or people who hold politically conservative views. So what is it that you really say about yourself by calling yourself a Christian? It turns out not much. Another reason to call yourself a disciple instead of a Christian is being a disciple gives you something to live into. By definition, a disciple is someone who is following someone else or trying to live their life by a certain set of teachings. So if you're not actively trying to learn from Jesus and live for him, you can still call yourself a Christian and no one will bat an eye. People do it every day. But if you say that you're a disciple of Jesus and you're not trying to learn from him, you're not trying to live for him, it's pretty hard to maintain that disconnect. It's a little bit like calling yourself a vegetarian and telling your friends that that's who you are, but then every time you go out to eat with your friends, you're ordering a steak or you're eating a hamburger. Very quickly, people will see that you're either delusional or you're dishonest. So instead of calling yourself a Christian, think and refer to yourself as a disciple, because Jesus never called his followers Christians. The first followers never called themselves Christian. The word has become so broad that it's basically lost its meaning. And calling yourself a disciple gives you something to live into. What do you think? Does it matter what you call yourself as a believer? Is there an advantage to being a disciple of Jesus versus being a Christian? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful or encouraging, please give it a like and share it with others. We'll see you next time.